Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for what looks like a whip and chat, but it's really not. I guess it sort of is, but what I'm going to be chatting to you about today is my goals for 2026 for diamond painting. So, if you follow the channel, you know that I set goals for myself every year. Some of them are still going to be the same, no surprise there. But I have made a few changes this year, so I'm going to zoom in so I can be working on this kit because I would really like to finish it sooner rather than later. So, I'm going to be diamond painting while I'm talking. If you want to go grab something that you're working on and work while I chat, and share all of my goals with you, that would be awesome. Let me move everything around and I'll be right back. All right, I've got my timer going. So I'm just going to dive in. What are my diamond painting goals for 2026 going to be? And I actually had someone ask me why I turned on a timer. That has to do with my diamond painting goal number one. And this has been one of my goals for the past 5 years. So I guess only 5 years to go. Probably slightly more than that though. So my first diamond painting goal, as usual, is 1,000 hours this year. I'm trying to get to 10,000 hours of mastery. I don't make 1,000 hours every year, obviously, but that's my goal. That means if I want to get 1,000 hours for the year, if I divide that by 12, I need to get roughly 84 hours a month. I often don't make that goal just because the way that I keep track of time, I don't count the time on my kit until it's completed because I don't know how many hours I've put in until I completed a kit. I mean, I keep track, but I don't total everything up. I could and just total everything up at the month, but I just prefer to do it the way that I'm doing it. So I'm not changing that part of it. What I am going to do, however, is to start including the kit up and kit down times for each of my kits because, as someone pointed out, those are part of diamond painting. You can't diamond paint unless you kit up or kit down. Even if it would just be a matter of sticking stickers on bags, that's still time that you spend working on that particular kit. So I am going to start including that. I don't know that it will make a significant difference in whether or not I make my 84 hours, but like I said, as someone pointed out, it is actually time that I spend working on the kit, so why shouldn't I include it? So I'm going to. So goal number one, as usual, is to get my 1,000 diamond painting hours for the year. Will I make it? Don't know. I'm probably not going to make it for this year, but it's a goal, right? If I don't make it, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It all still counts towards my mastery hours. It just will take me a little longer to get there than I thought it would, which is okay. I enjoy diamond painting, so as long as I'm enjoying it, I will keep doing it. Goal number two is my number of finishes. And this goal kind of fluctuates year to year. I've had years where I finished 70 plus kits. That was a year where I was doing a lot of 30 by 30 kits. So I finished 30 of them in 1 month for a challenge. So that was 30 kits just in 1 month right there. However, because of one of my other goals, I have been working on a lot of large kits recently, and I anticipate that I will be working on a lot of large kits next year as well in 2026. So rather than putting my number of finishes, which I usually put somewhere 35, 36, somewhere in there, instead of doing that, I have lowered the number of finishes goal down to 24. That is 2 kits a month, which I think is manageable for the larger kits that I'm anticipating working on. Maybe it won't be, and maybe I'll need to adjust that, but I thought just to keep myself from going crazy and feeling like I have another goal I'm not going to meet. It's always that fine line of challenging yourself versus stressing yourself out, right? And I just felt like 30 plus was going to be too much stress for me in 2026. I do still have a lot of things going on, even though we've been here for over a year now in Canada. Believe it or not, we are still settling in and getting used to things. It has been a huge change, some good, some bad, but all change. I am not always good at dealing with change, admittedly. So I want to just give myself some extra room and space to breathe this year. Maybe I won't need it. Maybe I will find my feet quicker than I think. But just for a variety of reasons and to keep it less stressful for me, I'm going to lower that number down to 24, which means if I divide that into 12, I need to do 2 kits per month. And that seems pretty doable as far as diamond painting goes. I don't know how that's going to impact my video schedule if I'm basically just working on kits. But I also know that I don't know how things are going to go next year. Maybe I will end up buying more than I did this year. Who knows? So I'm just going to give myself that leeway and try to finish 2 a month. If I get more than that, great. But I should be able to do at least 2 a month, I hope. The next one is another goal that I set for myself every year, and that is my budget. This year in 2025, I gave myself a budget of $1,800. I didn't spend anywhere near that amount. So, with that in mind, and also in mind that I'm planning on working on a lot of things out of my stash and not necessarily buying a lot of things next year, I have also reduced my stash. Rather than $1,800 for the year, I'm giving myself $1,200. And again, I expect a large chunk of that to be spent during sales, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that sort of thing. I don't know if I will actually spend that much during the year. I suspect that I won't, but at least I have some sort of a budget to keep myself in check. And also, if I spend under that amount, then that's a win too, right? So $1,200 for the year, if I divide that by 12, that means I have a budget of $100 a month. I'm expecting that there will be several months where I don't spend anything, especially the first of the year right after Christmas. Everybody's always recovering from the holidays and everything anyway. I have birthdays coming up right after Christmas, so I think we'll be working on those sort of things rather than worrying about diamond paintings that I want to buy. But you never know. Never know when one's going to pop out that I must have, so I will just say again that I expect to spend a chunk of that on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But if I don't, that's okay too. One of the other things that I decided to do this year was to give myself less goals. I think the last couple of years I've had 7 goals each year. It just was starting to feel like a lot. So I have also pared down the number of goals that I have. So far we've talked about 3, 4, 3. So my diamond painting hours, my number of finishes, and my budget. Then my 4th goal is going to be to finish some of the oldest kits in my stash. I still have kits in my stash that I bought in 2021. I thought I had done all of them, was it last year when I was doing like Jasper C and Belly Dancer, and I had a couple of Spanglers. Those were all my oldest kits. I thought I had gotten all the way through 2021. I had not. So I'm going to make it a goal to try and finish some of my oldest kits. I don't know if I will finish all of them, but I'm going to try. At last count, I had 5 or 6. If I do one every couple of months, that will be enough to meet the goal. I think that will help me be a little bit more successful, like with the Spanglers last year when I decided to change it to just do one every quarter rather than trying to do all 4 of them in a row was actually really helpful. It kind of was more like looking forward to those kits. Okay, it's the 3rd quarter, so now I can work on this one versus, oh gosh, I've got to get this one done so I can get it out of my stash, which was helpful just to reframe that little bit of mindset around it so it didn't feel like such a chore, because it shouldn't be a chore. And I enjoyed doing all of them. So with that in mind, am going to set a goal of doing one every couple of months, and then we'll just see how that goes for me. If I decide that that's still too much pressure, because a lot of the ones that I have left are ones that are very large, like Little Baker size, 90 by 60s and up. I don't want to get in a situation like I seem to put myself in every year, this year included, where it's the last couple of days of the month and I'm scrambling to try and finish something that I wanted to finish months ago. And that's okay. I'm not perfect. Life happens. If everything didn't go according to plan, it's okay. It's not my favorite thing to not have things go according to plan, but I'll survive. My last goal, because I said I'm only going to have 5 this year, is to slash my stash, which is a continuation of a goal that I had set for myself this year. I think the number is still in the negatives, even though I did buy some kits during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but I've also completed kits this year, obviously. So that has helped to keep me in the negatives, I believe. So that's what I want to do, is to keep myself getting that number down. I am going to keep track of it in 2 different ways, which is something I've never done before. Previously, I just kept track of my stash with how many kits were in it and then how many kits I completed. Subtract B, how many I completed, from A, how many were in the stash, and that's where I was at. It's not always that cut and dried, of course, because there are times when I will get kits for product reviews, and I do count those in my stash, even though they're not ones that I specifically purchased. I've got kits that I bought at one time and then have since decided, you know what, I'm probably never going to get to that one. So it's going to be a process. However, my goal is to reduce it by 20%. I don't know what my starting number is. I'll find that out when I do my stash update at the beginning of 2026. But I am going to keep track of it not only by number of kits and saying, okay, I completed, say I started with 50 kits and I completed 2 in January. Now I'm at 48. I will do that, but I will also keep track of, okay, right now my stash total in square centimeters is 200,000 square centimeters or whatever it is when I refigure it up and take out all the kits I completed this year. So I'll have a starting total for square centimeters, and then I'll have a starting total for number of kits, and then I will keep track of both of them. I think it will be a good motivation for me to see how many square centimeters I'm actually completing, because when you just keep track by number of kits, it's like, oh, I finished a kit. Well, I finished a 30 by 30 kit that took me like 4 hours. And then I also finished a 90 by 60 kit that took me like 80 hours. If you just say one kit and one kit, it doesn't really reflect the reality that one was way larger and took a lot more time than the other one. So I want to keep track of both. And I feel like seeing that stash number go down in square centimeters, because obviously it will be a very large number that, depending on the size of the kit, can go down pretty quickly. I think that will be a lot more motivation than just saying, oh, I completed one kit. And I could be wrong, but that's okay. This is all just to kind of keep me on track and keep me accountable, right? Not only to myself, but also to you guys. And I know that there are those of you that out there who don't like making goals. That's okay. I like making goals enough for everybody else, so I'll just make goals, and then you can watch me try, possibly fail. I always feel like I learn more from failing than I do from succeeding, because when you succeed, you just kind of go, huh, okay, I did that, and then you move on. Whereas when you fail, you kind of have to stop and look at, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Where can I make improvements? Are there things I should do differently? I did have plans to have other goals. I originally had plans to continue working on my stay or go kits and trying to complete some of those. But honestly, there was a lot of overlap between that and my oldest kits. And so I decided that I would just stick with the oldest kits as a goal, because that seemed more doable than trying to do that and do kits from the stay or go. I am down to the point, I think, in my stash where I'm going to be evaluating for the millionth time, it feels like, whether or not everything I have in my stash is something I want to keep. There are already a few I know that I want to open up and look at before I decide if I'm going to keep them. But then there are several that it's like, this has been sitting in my stash for how many years now? Is that just a sign that it appealed when I bought it, but it doesn't anymore? You know, your tastes change over time. So if I decide it's something that just doesn't have any appeal for me anymore, that's okay. I have I have plenty of options if I don't want to do them myself. But I decided again that there was just a little too much overlap. I also had considered having a goal for what I called my one-offs, but somebody else called her one-hit wonders. So I've started calling them that because I think it's hilarious. So one-hit wonders are just kits that are basically singles from a particular store. It's like it's a store that you only have one kit from that particular store. So for me, like I have one Make Market. I have one Captured by Radiance. I have one from Francesca's Studio Arts, which is my snowman that I'm going to be working on for our winter theme. But there was going to be some overlap there as well. And again, it just felt like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to finish way too many kits in too short of a time. And I think it's just too easy to get burnt out. And I don't want to do that to myself. So I decided to scrap that idea too. I still probably will complete a couple at least of the one hit wonders, but I'm not going to focus on doing them as a goal, if that makes sense. I just want to give, like I said, myself a little more space to not feel like I have to just be completing so many things. I don't know how that's going to work because of the YouTube channel. That's some of the pressure is just YouTube wants you to constantly make videos, right? And while I get that, that's their agenda, not mine. So I want to make good content, not just lots of content. And I also want to feel like I have time to sit down and enjoy this hobby, not just sit down and be rushing myself along because, oh no, I've got a deadline and I need to have this kit finished by this date. And I'm sure some of that will still probably happen because life happens. Things may happen. I may get off track from where I want to be. Goals are just the ideal, right? This is if absolutely nothing goes wrong all year, then this is my goal. Now, what are the odds that absolutely nothing is going to go wrong all year? Pretty much zero. Something is bound to happen somewhere. But as the year winds to a close, I just want to have time to enjoy friends and family and the holiday season. So those are my goals for 2026 for diamond painting. So if you have goals you'd like to share, feel free to drop those down in the comments below. And like I said, if you are someone who doesn't like making goals, if that's too stressful for you, I totally understand. Again, I invite you to follow me as I work through my goals and see what happens. So my next scheduled video would be on Thursday, which is Christmas. So I am giving myself permission to not upload on Thursday. I'm going to be spending time with friends and family and enjoying the holidays, and I hope that's what you have plans to do. So there will not be a video on Thursday. However, I will be back to regularly scheduled programming on Saturday. I don't know yet what that video is going to look like, but there will be one. So if I don't see you before then, again, happy holidays to all of you, and thank you all so much for making my 2025 as great as it has been. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.